When I returned from a business trip late at night, I stayed at a hotel so as not to disturb my insomniac wife Lily. Not long after, a ZL ultrasound came from the door. I took a closer look and saw a colorful card stuffed into the crack of the door. I scoffed at it, lamenting that the world was in decline, just as I was about to pick it up and complain to the hotel. My eyes widened suddenly, and I rubbed them in disbelief. The woman on the card looked exactly like my wife Lily. But this woman was not only unclothed, but also posed in a provocative posture which was imaginative. The text above was even more explicit and bold. Lonely wife, secret meeting late at night, extreme stimulation for both mind and body. My blood surged, and my face instantly turned red. My first reaction was that my wife's picture had been stolen. Using my wife's face for such a thing was simply an insult to her. I was so angry that I wanted to grab the person responsible and beat them up. In order to avoid retaliation, I registered a small account and added the other party. I found that it was not my wife's WeChat at all, and the account's real name was not my wife's. It wasn't her alternate account, and the weight was finally lifted from my heart. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but slap myself. Although I kept telling myself that my wife was framed, there was still a trace of doubt in my heart that I couldn't suppress. Now that it had been proven that the account was not my wife's, I deeply condemned myself. Lily was so good to me, and had even cured my sex addiction. How could I doubt her? I angrily picked up the card and was about to send a message to scold the person, when a work call suddenly came in. My boss came in person, and the matter was urgent, so I could only turn on the computer to deal with work first, when I finally remembered it after being busy. Many messages had popped up on my phone. Handsome guy. Yeah, such good taste. You are interested in our top card, but the young lady has been booked tonight. You can take a look at the other girls in our family and guarantee your satisfaction. Below was a string of pictures of beautiful women. Seeing this, I smiled contemptuously, and I had seen through his routine. It must be that the agent wanted to use Lily's beauty to attract customers, and then pretend that she had no schedule to promote other girls. I was very disdainful and cursed the other party's ancestors in the dialogue box. Just as he was about to send it, his smile froze on his face and he almost fainted. I covered my head in pain, and the dialogue box stayed on the business card that the agent had just sent. If my brother has to have her, you can add her to ask about the schedule first. She is very busy. Hang in there. And the other party's avatar was so familiar that I could recognize it at a glance. It was a couple's avatar that I had drawn with my own hands. My wife was a little white rabbit, and I was a big bad wolf. Together, she bit my ear, and I kissed her toes. The only one in the world. I could still remember how happy she was when she saw the picture, and she got into my arms with a red face. So I am so pure and flawless in your eyes. Honey bear, you are so good to me. I hugged her with a happy face, and my youthful face was full of the sweetness of love. Of course, Lily. I love you. I want to give you the best. Memories of the past tore me apart like needles and bayonets. My blood was surging, my eyes were black, and I actually coughed up blood. I sent a friend request with trembling hands, praying in my heart that it wouldn't go through, or that someone could come and punch me and tell me it was a dream, with a ding-dong. I heard the sound of heartbreak and opened my eyes in disbelief. Lily has passed your friend application, and now you can chat. The little white rabbit I drew with my own hands sent a long voice message. Where's my brother? I'm at the Grandview Hotel. I can make an appointment tomorrow. I woke up because I was at the Grandview right now. I grabbed my phone and replied thoughtfully. I'm also at the Grandview. Where are you? I still didn't believe it. I had to see it with my own eyes and listen to her explain it to me. How could I believe such a pure and beautiful woman could be a woman for hire? I'd rather believe that Lily was framed than that she would betray me and become a woman who can be with anyone. I don't believe it. At this time, a call came, and my takeaway had arrived. Because of work, I hadn't eaten for a day. After encountering this change again, my whole body now had no strength at all. I cheered up and went downstairs to get the takeaway, in a trance, staring at my phone. But strangely, the other side never replied. After picking up the food and walking back, I glanced at it unconsciously, but the back of the person in front of me shocked me. It was Lily. She was even wearing the clothes I gave her the day before yesterday. Because I couldn't come back in time for our wedding anniversary, I gritted my teeth and spent a month's salary to buy her the dress she had been longing for. I still remember the video she sent me when she received the package. She shyly compared the clothes to her body, and I teased her to put them on for me to see. She playfully stuck out her unredacted coke at this lie. Don't. I'm going to wait for Honey Bear to come back and put it on for me with his own hands, and then help me take it off little by little. Was she so impatient? Now, she was going to find a man to help her undress. I was furious, and when I realized that the other party had already entered the elevator, I hurriedly followed but didn't know what floor she was on, so I rushed into the stairwell like crazy and climbed up like a desperate person. The second floor was not stopped. The third floor was not stopped. Finally, it stopped on the fourth floor where I lived. But I looked around and couldn't find anyone. Just when I didn't know if I was lost or happy, there was a knock on the door in the corridor next to me. I swallowed my saliva, took a deep breath, and mustered up the courage to look over there. At this sight, I completely collapsed. It was my wife Lily who knocked on the door, and it was my colleague Mark who opened the door. I immediately wanted to step forward to stop it, but then the WeChat prompt suddenly sounded. Brother, I'm sorry. There was no signal in the elevator just now. Not today. They already have an appointment. And today's guests don't accept double bookings. But tomorrow they can all be yours. I was so angry that I felt dizzy and my brain was congested. It's unbelievable. I held her in my hand for fear of falling. And I held her in my mouth for fear of melting, but I can't believe it. How can she be so debauched outside? Looking over again, Mark had already walked into the room with Lily's arm around his waist. I walked back to my room with heavy steps. Listening to the panting coming from next door, I clenched my fists. Tonight, do I feel any pain even if my nails dug into my flesh? In the crackling accompaniment, I couldn't help but shed tears. I picked up the phone and called my boss's number. Boss, I've decided I'm going abroad. My boss is a foreigner, but he appreciates me very much and once invited me to go abroad to be the regional general manager. But that required permanent residence abroad, and considering that Lily's English was not good, I was also afraid that she would not be able to adapt to life abroad. So I chose to refuse. It was almost cheaper than Mark's worthless scraps. But now, Lily was no longer in my future life plans. And, of course, I had no reason to refuse. The boss was very happy and immediately promised me double my annual salary and helped me get a visa. The next morning, I met Mark in a restaurant. His dark circles hung on his face, and his steps were shaky. Seeing that I was also looking bad, I immediately gained momentum. Brother, hey, I didn't disturb you last night. It's all meant to understand. Oh, I forgot that you are a wife's slave, brother. You really shouldn't be so stupid. How can a woman be more important than yourself? I was choked when I heard this, and he was right, because I was really stupid and was played around by a woman named Lily. Seeing that I was in deep thought, Mark thought I was shaken and smiled again. Should I say it? Last night's chick was really energetic. Her small mouth, small waist and long legs were really the best. She played freely, cooperated with everything. The only bad thing is that you're not allowed to take pictures, or you really want to show them. I felt my heart bleeding and couldn't listen anymore. Ah. But he grabbed me and smiled obscenely. I wanted to secretly take a picture and was discovered by her. She was instantly furious. Guess what she said? She said she loves her husband. Ha ha ha. Isn't that funny? Loving her husband and still coming out to do this, she doesn't look like a bad person. So, how much of a waste? does her husband have to be to make her unable to hold it back and come out to steal people? With a bang, I slammed the plate on the table, looking hideous. Mark looked at me in shock. Brother, you. I turned around with a cold face, thought for a moment and turned back. You're right. I won't give up another chance for a woman. Leaving Mark with a dull face, I drove home. After opening the door, Ali was washing up in her nightdress, and when she heard the sound, she was so frightened that her toothbrush fell to the ground. Honey Bear? You. Why did you come back early? A nightdress with few pieces of fabric couldn't cover the traces all over her body. She followed my line of sight and saw the model body and hurriedly tightened her clothes. I accidentally bumped and injured myself while exercising in the past 2 days. It hurt so much. Honey Bear, you touch it. As she spoke, she was about to throw herself into my arms, grabbed my hand and pressed it on herself. I felt a surge of nausea, frowned and immediately pushed her away in disgust. Dirty. She was stunned and frightened. Her deer-like eyes instantly filled with tears, and her expression panicked. Honey Bear, you. What did you say? If I had accidentally made her cry before, I would have been heartbroken and wanted to slap myself 100 times to apologize. But now I just thought she was extremely boring. Too lazy to talk to her more. I picked up a change of clothes and rushed into the bathroom. I'll go wash first. Now she was relieved, naturally thinking that I was just talking about being dirty. I loved her so much before. How could I be willing to talk about her like that? As everyone knows, I felt dirty by her. She followed me step by step, and I accidentally turned around and bumped into her. She looked at my obviously thin-faced, distressed lie. Honey Bear, you have lost a lot of weight. Lily is so distressed. I will make you a good meal to make up for it later. I raised my eyebrows. Oh, will you be with me today? Of course. Speaking of this, she seemed to think of something. Her face turned pale. Her eyes dodged, and she hung up a flattering smile for a moment. I have an appointment with my little sister in the afternoon, and I discussed with her to see if I could cancel it. In Lily's heart, nothing is as important as her husband. I silently pushed her out. Sure enough, a minute later, I received a new message on my mobile phone account. Brother, people are not feeling well today. Can we change it to another day? After washing, the room was filled with the aroma of food. Lily had already taken off her nightdress and even put on last night's skirt again. I felt a chill and pretended to go back to my room to avoid her outstretched arm. Honey Bear, I have already prepared meals. They are all your favorite foods. You can try them. I dried my hair and sat down at the dining table. Lily shyly circled around me. Honey Bear, you see, this is the clothes you bought for me. Lily likes it so much. You are the first person to see it. Are you happy? I couldn't stop rolling my eyes in my heart. Mark's bodily fluids last night might still be on his clothes. Thinking of this, I had no appetite and symbolically picked up a few chopsticks. You're not going out? Lily sat opposite me, her big eyes flickering. Of course, no one is as important as Honey Bear to Lily. Lily loves her husband the most, and Lily is all her husband's alone. I threw up with a wow. Lily was so frightened that she immediately ran over, and even wanted to catch my vomit with her hands, her eyes full of worry. What's wrong with my husband? Is it that Lily's cooking is not appetizing? I couldn't listen to Lily's shameless lies anymore, and I didn't want to entangle her too much. So he pretended that he had just eaten too much takeaway and hurt his appetite, so he pushed her away. Lily looked distressed, and the big tears hung in her eyes and slowly slipped down. Lily cried with pear blossoms and rain. She was still as beautiful as when we first met, but the beautiful shell was ruined. She was completely dirty, and she was no longer worthy of my unique love. My husband has worked hard to make money. Lily must take good care of her husband and take good care of her body. I didn't speak. I just silently sent her a photo of the 8-pack. ABS, I found on the internet with a small account. With a ding-dong, Lily's mobile phone prompt sounded. She casually picked up her phone, and after reading the message, Her face turned red instantly and her body twisted around unconsciously. "Brother, you are so handsome. Your muscles are hard and people are panicked. I can't imagine that she would flirt with someone else in front of me like this." Suddenly thinking that I was still there, she raised her head and nervously picked her fingers. "Honey Bear, my little sister is celebrating her birthday today. Can I accompany her? Lily promises to be back before dark." My hands under the dining table worked less tightly, so hard that my joints turned white, and bitterness surged in my heart. 10 years ago, I didn't hesitate to miss out on high-paying jobs, and I also wanted to stay in China for Lily, despite the enthusiasm of those around him. He proposed to her after graduation. I thought I had found true love, but I didn't expect that I couldn't even compare to a random man on the side of the road in her heart. Watching Lily excitedly start dressing up, my heart was turbulent. "Lily, we are completely over." After Lily left, I had no time to grieve. I had more important things. I went to the hospital with apprehension and checked my body. Lily doesn't know how long this has been done. Although our married life has decreased recently, there was another time a month ago, because I felt that we only had each other and did not take safety measures. The process of waiting for the result was like a knife twisting in the heart. But, fortunately, there was no problem with the final result. I breathed a sigh of relief, and the big stone in my heart finally landed. During the process, the mobile phone kept vibrating, and Lily sent a cool outfit photo, posing in a charming posture. "When will my brother come? People really want to." The people in the photo were afraid of long needle eyes. I backhanded Lily, completely lost my concern for her, and began to prepare for going abroad. This time I came out and packed all my luggage and brought it out. I found out in Lily's circle of friends that she would bring strange men home, and the former love nest had now become dirtier than a chicken coop. I couldn't take it anymore and ran away from home. The house was bought by me before marriage, and it had been put up for sale by an agent. During this period, Lily kept sending messages. "Honey Bear, the little sister has something to do temporarily. I'm going home. Have you gone out? Then Lily is waiting for Honey Bear at home. Honey Bear." "Did you make a mistake? Why does someone come to see our house?" "Lily is so scared. When will you go home?" "Honey Bear, why don't you reply to me? Wooloo, is something wrong with you?" I have been busy going through various formalities and dealing with domestic property. When I was finally done, Mark called angrily. "What do you mean by Adam? Why did you take away the opportunity to go abroad? I don't care. You have to compensate me. It's a pity that I treated you as a brother and woke up your love-crazed brain. But you are good at making small moves behind my back to harm me, right?" I chuckled. It was an opportunity for me to pick up his scraps. And he bared his teeth and calls. "Don't worry, brother, I have prepared a gift for you. Do you go to the address I sent you now? There is a surprise." Mark was happy when he heard this. "I know, brother. You won't treat me badly." Lily, who was anxious at home, was about to go out to find me when she heard the doorbell ring. She opened the door with a happy face, but what she saw was Mark's big-headed face, and her face suddenly faded. "How? Why are you here?" Mark's mung-bean eyes lit up instantly. He raised his hand to wipe the drool on his lips, showed a lewd smile, and pounced on Lily. "Brothers have to understand me." Lily didn't know why she was covered by Mark's thick lips. "Brother, slow down." "Not now, my husband will find out." And Mark couldn't hear anything at all, and fell on the sofa with Lily in his arms. Lily didn't know where the strength came from, and slapped Mark until he was overthrown. She hurriedly put on her scattered clothes, picked up the fruit knife on the table and pointed it at the other party. "I said I can't be discovered by my husband, otherwise I will never spare you." "Do you think you are following me? How do you know I live here?" Mark was stunned. "Who is following you?" "It was my brother, who asked me to come here to receive gifts." The more Lily listened, the more wrong she became, and her delicate eyebrows twisted into a knot. "Oh yes, my brother also said to give this to you, and you will understand everything." Saying that, Mark handed Lily a craft paper bag. Lily's hands trembled, her face was as pale as paper, and fine beads of sweat oozed from her forehead. When I opened the paper bag, I saw the huge 5 characters of the divorce agreement. Mark suddenly remembered something and hurriedly spoke. "By the way, my brother's name is Ada." Lily looked sluggish, and fainted directly after hearing this. At this time, I was already on a plane to a foreign country. 2 years later abroad, I had perfectly adapted to the rhythm of work and life here. In the past, because I had to take care of Lily, I always had limited energy and lacked skills. And now, without Lily's constraints, I could devote myself to my work, not only doubling the efficiency, but also the effect was immediate. The boss looked at the red stocks and booming performance across the board, and smiled from ear to ear. My salary had also risen. In China, it was said that after the house was sold, Lily had nowhere to go and continued to resume her old business. It didn't take long for him to get sick and was blocked by the entire industry. Mark was fired by his boss for embezzling the company's assets. The stolen money was deducted, and he also entered the bureau. After hearing this, I only felt that these things were like things in my previous life, and there was no more turmoil in my heart. After eating with my partner that day, I was ready to drive back to the company. There was an unkempt woman sitting in the parking lot. In the winter, he only wore a single coat, and his body was dirty as if he had just rolled out of the mud. I threw a few bills casually, and the other party trembled and kept bowing to me gratefully, but she suddenly stopped. She looked at me, tears streaming down her face. "Honey Bear, I'm Lily." I paused when I heard the sound and looked down at the dirty woman. It was completely impossible to associate her with Lily, the former campus goddess. I was just a poor silly boy back then, and Lily was already the talk of the school. Although her campus history was longer than the school's founding history, her suitors could still fill the entire playground. There was no other reason, but she was really very beautiful. Fair skin, melon seed face, black hair naturally curly, and clear eyes like a fawn confused to see everyone. However, I was initially scoffing that a woman with an empty appearance was not my ideal lover. But one day, I accidentally bumped into a well-known gangster at school. He pressed my head in the toilet and insisted on falsely accusing me of stealing his gold watch. I argued based on reason, but no one paid attention to it at all. Because I was an orphan, my adoptive parents had long ignored me. I was pressed to the ground, my face covered in the filth of the toilet, and I was extremely disgusted. Everyone stood on the opposite side of me, mocking me and laughing at me, until Lily appeared. I will never forget that scene, her body glowing, and came to me like an angel. She draped her clean school uniform over me, didn't care about the dirt on my body, and helped me up. The little gangster smiled flatteringly at her. "Goddess, what do you care about this toad? Don't get your hands dirty. I feel distressed." Lily shook off the other party's hand and accused sharply, "Emperor Shang, your hand shows that you fell into the sea when you went out to play last time. Why are you framing others here?" Emperor Zhang scratched the back of his head in embarrassment, and he was a little embarrassed. "Oh yes, I forgot. Lily, you still remember you care about me so much." As he spoke, he was about to touch her face, but was slapped by Lily. "Stinky bitch, shameless." The other party was instantly furious, and he picked up the wooden stick beside him to greet Lily. I don't know where the strength came from, so I took Lily in my arms. Dang, I only felt dizzy, and the heat flowed down from the top of my head. I was surrounded by the exclamations of my classmates. Lily was shaking all over. She hugged me and screamed, tears hitting my face drop by drop like beads with broken threads. That was the first time I saw Lily crying for me. It was also at that time that I vowed never to let her shed a tear again in this life. The memory was interrupted by Lily's cry. She clutched my trouser hem tightly and cried uncontrollably. "Honey Bear." "Boy, it's Lily's mistake. Please don't abandon Lily. People came and went on the street," pointing at me. I still took Lily to the hotel after all. She used to be really good to me. Although I had no love or hate for her now, even if I were a stranger, I would not see her starving to death on the street. Lily grabbed the food and devoured it, without the image of a lady in the past. I looked at my phone. It was almost time, and I was ready to leave. Lily was like a snake that had been stepped on, and the bullet bounced up and grabbed my sleeve. I lowered my head impatiently, and her oily hands pulled my suit out of the folds. Lily followed my line of sight and immediately let go of her hand. She panicked and wanted to tidy me up, but found that her hands were too dirty to touch me. "I'm sorry, Honey Bear. Take off your clothes and I'll wash them for you." I dodged her approach, distanced myself from her, and pulled out a stack of bills from my wallet. "Lily, looking at the relationship over the years, this is the last thing I can do for you. Return to China as soon as possible. Don't disturb me again." "I don't want it." Lily knelt on the spot, her eyes sorrowful, and she roared hoarsely. "Husband, no matter how many men I have experienced, I only have you in my heart. It's just that you're too busy with work. I don't want to disturb you all the time. And if you're sick, you can only solve it in that way. I don't mean to betray you. I only love you. Please, give me another chance. I will definitely work hard to take medicine and never be stupid again. Enough. Lily, please don't tarnish your love anymore." I couldn't stand it anymore, so I turned around and left. Unexpectedly, Lily turned around and stood on the balcony. Her eyes were red and her expression was determined. "Honey Bear, if you leave today, I will jump from here. I don't believe you don't love me. You are so good to me. How can you not love me?" I didn't have half a wave in my eyes and pointed my phone at her. "If you want to jump, jump quickly. I'll take a video to prove that you committed suicide by yourself. It has nothing to do with me." My indifferent words shattered Lily's heart inch by inch. Her knees went weak, and she completely collapsed on the ground with a bang. Her eyes were empty and she asked in a daze, "Do you really want me anymore?" Seeing that she had no thoughts of suicide, I threw the divorce judgment on her. Although Lily had not signed a divorce agreement, because she had been away from the place for more than 2 years, my lawsuit for divorce had been passed. To Lily, "We have no relationship with each other from now on." I turned around and left. Lily's miserable and desperate wailing sounded behind me, which did not subside for a long time. I haven't seen Lily for a long time after that day. I heard from the hotel front desk that she checked out early the next day, and it seemed that she had returned to China. This incident stayed in my mind for less than a few seconds and disappeared without a trace. I returned to my busy life. Late one night, I drank some wine and called a substitute driver home. As soon as I staggered to the door, there was a heavy blow from the back of my head, and I fainted with a dong. When I opened my eyes again, I sat on the sofa in the living room, my hands tied behind my back. "Yo, is the big boss awake?" I looked in the direction of the sound, and it turned out to be Mark. He was much thinner than 2 years ago, with a shaved head and a lot of scars on his body. Buddy, it seems that life in prison is not easy. "Mark, what are you going to do?" Mark held my treasured red wine in his hand, with banknotes from my safe beside him, and laughed arrogantly. "What are you doing?" "I'm going to live in your house, drive to your car, spend your bills, sleep with your woman. I want everything from you. You are so cruel. Just because of a woman. You put me in prison, and I can't satisfy the woman to let him go out to find a man, and blame me. Let me tell you, you messed with the wrong person. I have hidden cabinets on my sofa, and there are knives hidden in them just in case of an accident." I carefully dealt with the other party, calmed his emotions, and slowly approached the hidden cabinet. "Brother, you misunderstood me. Lily is the broken shoe I don't want. How can I sleep with her as you want? How can I turn against you for her? Don't let her affect the relationship between us." Mark laughed when he heard this. He clapped his palms and laid a person out of the cubicle. The man was holding Mark in his arm, and I looked at it as Lily. She wasn't as sloppy as she was a few days ago. She was groomed and neatly dressed, but her eyes were full of sadness and loss. "Did you hear? The husband you missed didn't want you for a long time. I still don't obey me." An evil fire rose from his heart. "I think I'm not thin to Lily. Even if she doesn't know how many times she has cheated on me, I still don't embarrass her. I just wanted to get together and break up, and even gave her travel expenses to return to China, but she kidnapped me with her sister-in-law." Lily obediently nestled in Mark's arms, and the two of them began to kiss inseparably in front of me. I endured the nausea and took the opportunity to take out a knife from the hidden cabinet and carefully cut the rope. When I was about to cut it, Mark suddenly strode up to me. "How is it? Does the woman who sees me kiss you feel heartbroken? Feel it well. I want you to repay the suffering I have suffered 100-fold." As he spoke, he pulled out the knife from his body and was about to stab me. "Ah!" Lily screamed, and the cold light of the blade flashed, and it was about to stab me in the chest. Expansion. At this moment, I broke free from the rope and punched Mark in the face. He didn't guard against me being able to shoot. I knocked him to the ground. I took the opportunity to hurriedly run to the bedside of the bedroom and pulled the bedside table away, but it was blank. My brain buzzed, and Mark's proud voice came from behind me. "Are you looking for this?" A cold muzzle was blocked at the back of my head, and my cold sweat instantly soaked my forehead. Click. The sound of loading came, and I held my breath and my brain was racing. "Adam, you go to death. Don't." Ah! After a loud bang, warm blood sprayed all over my face. Lily's small body stood in front of me. Her forehead was pierced by a bullet, and blood flowed down. Mark was completely dumbfounded. "Lily, you. Don't move. Get down." The emergency alarm device I had pressed on the sofa before, and now the police have finally arrived to press Mark to the floor. Lily's body slowly slid down, and I hugged her into my arms, her voice trembling. You don't have to do that." Lily's white hands trembled and stroked my face, wiping away the tears from the corners of my eyes. "Too much." "Right. It's okay if you're okay." At this time, I had put aside all the love-hate entanglements between us, and shook my head at her bloodless face. "Hold on, Lily. There are many beautiful things in the world besides love waiting for you to feel. When you get better, I will take you to treat your illness and live well." "Okay." Lily was already out of breath at this time. Her lips were pale, her eyes began to scatter, and she still tried her best to pull out a smile when she heard the words, "Okay." But the next second, her hand slipped weakly, and she completely lost her breath. On the cemetery, the girl smiled like a flower. I ended up choosing her photo on our marriage certificate, because at that time she was the most carefree and simply happy. The past is like a passing day, and clouds and smoke flash quickly in front of you. I have asked myself countless times that maybe we are all wrong to get to this point. If I could care more about her, if she could be more honest with me, maybe everything would have been different. But the dead are like this, and the living are gone. I walked alone to the new sunrise. Lily's postscript. One, the hardest thing for me to say is that I have a sex addiction. Because of this disease, I was scolded by my mother as a born lowly species, and my father left us. I had boyfriends one after another at school. My physical desires could be satisfied, but my heart was always empty. Until one day, I met my honey bear. In fact, I knew him before you blocked the wooden stick for me. He is excellent, smart, and independent, and I have been curious about him more than once. But I know that he and I are not the same kind of people, so I choose to stay away. But that day, I realized that love turned out to be so desperate, something that he would protect with his own life. As long as the other party is him, anything is fine. I was lucky enough to meet him, and the years that followed were the happiest days of my life. But after graduation, Honey Bear became busier and busier. I knew he turned down a good opportunity for me, and I couldn't be a burden to him anymore. But my body was like being gnawed by ants. I really couldn't stand it, and I even wanted to end my life to calm everything. And I can't bear to be a honey bear. I was greedy for his thoughtfulness and gentleness. I didn't want him to be disappointed in me. In desperation, I made the worst decision of my life. Since then, I have been entangled in desire and pain every day. Every time I accompany different people, I imagine them as honey bears, otherwise I would really go crazy. I carefully guarded this secret, but I didn't expect it to be known by the honey bear, or in the most unbearable form. I don't know how to describe how I felt at that time, like a fish thrown on the shore. I gasped, but I felt the invisible rope tighten me tighter and tighter, and the pain was suffocating. The only salvation in my life is the honey bear. Without him, my existence would be meaningless. Lily's postscript after the house was sold. I had nowhere to go. In desperation, I can only continue to do some flesh business. I want to save money. I want to go abroad and explain it to the honey bear in person. I want to hear honey bear say that he doesn't love me anymore. Otherwise, I won't believe anything. But the result is that I get sick, and when I find out, I want to die immediately. I stood by the river, and the handsome face of the honey bear appeared on the electronic screen opposite. He speaks fluent English, confident and dashing. I flinched again. I couldn't bear to let him go. So I started doing manual work, and I did all the dirty work. Finally, in 2 years, I saved enough for travel expenses. I secretly wrote down the company and address of the honey bear and set off confidently. But I didn't expect that my money was cheated by the intermediary, and when he got there, he took all my money away and kicked me out of the car. In a strange country, there are incomprehensible languages everywhere. I thought I was dying like this, when a bill appeared in front of my eyes. It's a honey bear! He came to me like a god and saved me. But after 2 years, his eyes became very indifferent. I persistently lingered on his face, but I couldn't find a trace of his love for me, and he didn't even care about my life or death. I was completely disappointed. Looking at him in a suit and leather shoes and me all over my body, I knew we couldn't go back. I took the money he gave me and planned to return to China for the rest of my life. But I didn't expect to meet Mark at the airport. He was actually released from prison and found him. When he saw me, his eyes flashed with fierceness, and he held me hostage to a beautiful house with a knife against my neck. I didn't know where it was until he appeared with the unconscious honey bear. I exclaimed and wanted to step forward to check, but he kicked me over. Stinky bitch. People don't want you anymore. Do you still miss you? Now only my brother is sincere to you, you wait. I will let you recognize the reality today. Broken shoes. It turns out that this is my place in the heart of the honey bear. His words were like knives, cutting my heart one by one. I felt like I was poured a basin of ice water on my head, and my whole body froze. I followed Mark numbly and was at his mercy, thinking about how to find an opportunity to save the honey bear. Mark's unpleasant tongue stuck into my mouth, and I resisted the desire to vomit and secretly looked at the honey bear. He didn't look at me, just groped on the sofa. I knew he must be looking for something, and I wanted to delay for him. So I affectionately grabbed Mark and buried his head in mine. Unexpectedly, he suddenly pushed me away and rushed towards the honey bear like crazy. Everything happened so fast that I didn't have time to react. Fortunately, the honey bear successfully escaped, and Mark, who was punched, became angry. He turned around and took out a black machine from his pocket. I looked at it, and it turned out to be a pistol. No way, absolutely not. I rushed between them with an arrow and blocked the honey bear with my body. Only a bang sound was heard, and only the earth-shattering roar was left in my world. I couldn't hear anything. My heart was slow and heavy, beating harder than the other. But I was very happy, because the honey bear hugged me again. His body is so hot, the taste is so fresh, It is the only warmth I crave in my life. I used my last strength to wipe away the tears from the corners of his eyes. Don't cry, I love you. If there is a next life, I will be a woman with a honey bear, and I will no longer deceive the honey bear for fear of disappointment. We can definitely overcome all the problems. Because I believe that he will love me in the same way, hold hands for a lifetime, and live up to love sickness.